I wake up in Vegas and I lose a couple grand. I take a couple shots, I'm feeling good again. I told my girl that I was going straight home, yeah right. I hope she doesn't see the photos on my phone. Alright, I done a couple things you'll never hear about, like when I passed out inside and in and out. I told my mama I was going straight home. I got arrested climbing telephone poles. Alright, I ain't proud of all of it.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the third edition of the Have-Nots podcast. Jason Carter, along with Joe Frank. We are on location this afternoon in South Bend.
Sure are.
Beautiful living arrangements we have here. So we are working with the South Bend Cubs this week, but we are here to talk about Big Brother, not about the Cubs losing to the White Sox 3-1.
I hate that. Hate that you threw that in there. A lot of stuff went down this week on BB.
I kid because I care. That's the thing.
Oh, is that the case?
Yes, it is the case. So yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff went down this past week on Big Brother Season 19. Of course, we already know that Jessica won the HOH. She put up Josh and Ramses.
Let's start with the battle back.
Yeah, we got to go back all the way to last Wednesday.
You're right.
When, it was obviously Paul's last week of being safe. He got the first Den of Temptation item. Last week, we finally found out who got the last Den of Temptation item, and it was Jessica.
I love it. I love it so much. She needed it, and now the tables have officially turned in the house. I love the underdogs, Jessica, and what we'll get into from the battle back, the two underdogs. Coming back, now they're about to throw their shot this week because they're in power.
So it was the temptation was that the halting hex is what she got. We still don't know what the consequence is to the halting hex yet. I think we're going to find out Wednesday. Thursday. They said we're going to find out. That's what Julie Chen told us. But Jessica got the halting hex. Apparently, America voted for her. If you voted for her, let me know. Tweet me at JasonCarter03, because who in America voted for Jessica to get the final Den of Temptation item? You're lying.
I'm not lying. Why would I not vote for Jessica? She needed the help. Who else am I going to give it to?
But it's Jessica. Does America really love Jessica?
Of course they do.
Why?
Because she's the housewife. And she's all alone now. Her man, the Marine, is gone. She needs some help.
That's the only thing I could think
In comes the halting hex. Now into the battle back. We got Cameron, we got Cody, we got Jillian, we got Dominique. 1v1v1v1, top two advance, Cody and Cameron through the maze race. And then we go Cody, Cameron in that billboard game, which Cody was struggling, to say the least, in the beginning of that.
Well, you're fast-forwarding again, because what happened after Wednesday, Jessica was up on the block on Thursday with Dominique.
But she was never going home.
And Jessica knew she was never going home. Part of me really wants to know if the tables were turned just a bit, if she would have used the halting hex. I'm like, all right, cool, can't use that anymore. I'm just ready for her to use it because I want to see what happens.
Well, I don't think she was ever going to use it on Thursday. Because you knew, you know where the votes are going to go in 95% of evictions, and it was a 10-0 unanimous for Dominique. So you knew that you're not getting voted out. Dominique's a way bigger threat, and she was sealing her fate throughout the week. After, she was arguing, or who was it? Jason won the power veto, and then asked her, what would you do if I used it on you? And she said, I'm not working with my team. They stabbed me in the back. I'm ready to get the snake out. All right, well, guess what? You just sealed 10 votes in your favor to go home. So
yeah, the big thing about her overall game, reflecting on Dominique's game, at first she was kind of just a floater, and then some things kind of got turned around where she pretty much kind of threw her own people under the bus to Alex.
Yeah, it was her that started that whole thing.
So she started, and then she wouldn't even come out and say it, oh hey, by the way, there's a snake. She didn't just come out and say Paul. She just kept saying snake, and she's praying to God. Well, hey, guess what? Hope Jesus is enjoying being out of Big Brother, because he's not in the house right now. And if he is, he's working with 12 other people. So, it was 11 people. Now it's 12 people because, Cody is back.
Thank
in
God.
The house.
We said it last week, too. It's not if he comes back. It's when he comes back, because none of them are going to be able to compete and beat Cody in any competition if it's anything physical. Sure enough, maze race. He basically cruised through that. Cameron ends up coming with him to the second round, but the girls, Dominique and Jillian, really were struggling with it. And then, of course, in the billboard game... Man,
Cameron got me excited. He took that lead. He was up, 7-4?
7-4, he was up, and just couldn't... And then Cody looks over and realized, okay, he's really firing soft, maybe I should try doing the same. My aim might be a little bit better. Sure enough, it is. Instead of firing bullets, the soft route works for Cody. He comes back, wins. I think it was 10-8 the final. 10-8, 10-7. And then the twist. I didn't see this coming because they haven't done this before. The house picking a challenger to go out and face Cody in the game of his choice. And that threw me for a loop.
And unanimously, of course, they all picked Paul.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Who is the other alpha in the house.
My question is, why did Jessica pick Paul?
Well, because I think at that point Jessica didn't know.
I mean, you have to assume.
I mean, yeah, you can assume all you want, but I mean, what if it was Cameron that got it? I mean, he was 2 balls away. You never know what the contest is going to be, what the competition is going to be. I mean, when it came with that maze thing, I was like, all right, I don't think like Cody's going to walk away a clear favorite here. I actually thought Cameron had a good chance. He came in second. Didn't want to lose everything Big Brother. So Cameron, congratulations. Would love to get you in the Big Brother studio.
Yeah, if you want to go on the podcast, Cameron.
Yeah, we'd love to get you in. I want to talk about your 11 hours and 54 minutes.
That is actually something we could probably do. We could probably get him.
All right.
Get him on Twitter. Look up Cameron on Twitter. We'll see if we can find him.
I'll look up Cameron on Twitter as you can talk about what happened.
Yeah, so then Cody, in the second round, as we said, he dominated the Billboard in comeback fashion, goes on, faces Paul. So Paul comes out, and of course Cody walks through the smoked out gate, and everybody except for Jessica is like, you gotta be kidding me. But what were you expecting, honestly? So Jessica's happy. Now there's a lot riding on this because Paul, the guy who got Cody out of the house, faces off to keep him out of the house, or if Cody beats Paul, he comes back in. Sure enough, maze race, Cody smoked Paul. And the straight advantage of playing the game once, knowing that the controls are inversed on the wires, and being able to just maneuver through. Because it wasn't until about halfway through where Paul said, all right, I'm kind of getting the hang of this now. I could try and catch up here. But at that point, Cody is like, I'm almost done.
Yeah, you saw where the balls were at. It was like, oh, Paul, it's almost everybody.
Yeah, he had no shot. Cody was going slow and steady, but efficiently at the same time. He's able to win the maze race, get back in the house. Now, he doesn't know anything yet that Jessica, 1, has the halting hex. 2, he's going to be able to compete in an HOH competition like right away. So that's a big thing for him. And he did he know beforehand, before the HOH, that she had the hex? I believe he did. I believe she told him.
Yeah, she came in the room. She's like, hey, here's what's going on.
Right.
Kevin and Jason are on my side right now. We got to try to get out Alex, Paul, Christmas, and she said somebody else. Don't remember the other person. I believe she said 4.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh. There you go. And she said we got to try to get out these 4. Yeah, but Kevin and Jason, they've had my back in this house. Been in mending some relationships with them. By the way, I got this, and I mean Cody was about as shocked as I think I was when Jessica won the did a temptation, a halting hex. So he goes, oh my God, I can't believe you got it. I mean, you saw the way they played the game. Really, it was like they weren't really making friends. They didn't really come across on TV as like, all right, these are 2 people I can rally behind.
Right.
So I didn't vote. I wasn't a fan of it. Sorry, I wasn't a fan. I mean, first, based on looks, I don't think Jessica's that good looking.
Really?
She's got like that hurt thing, man. Like I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there.
I'm glad she got it. And then the HOH competition showed the colors essentially of. She says these people had my back. These people had my back. Well, obviously they don't because then they're punishing Cody.
Yeah. So of course during the HOH competition, it was a weird one. They had to hold up a pole. It's like a giant straw up against a red light. They were traffic cops, and they had to see who could hold the longest. And before they went in, Paul said to the other housemates, hey, it's 10 against 2.
That is insane.
Like, he flat out said, it's us against them. We're the favorite here. We can take out 2 measly people.
Yeah, so I mean, you have the whole room, the whole house is in one room besides Cody and Jessica who are catching up in another room. So they all know, all right, only one of us has to win this HOH. That's it. And for the fact that they were up at 10-2 odds and couldn't pull it off, yeesh.
And the last woman standing was Christmas?
Yeah, the girl in a cast in one leg? Come on.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things like, what in the heck is going on here? I mean, you lose 4 in the first 2 minutes. First goes out Kevin, then goes out Mark, then goes out Paul, then goes out Jason. They all use it on Cody. And then Josh, of course, he gets out and he throws it on Jessica, and the crap talking started.
Josh is a moron. He's a clown. He's immature. He doesn't really. I don't think he should be there. I mean, it's just insanity. Why does he love the saying "Mr. Meatball" or "You're a good person" or "I have respect for you"? I mean, generic sayings that he just keeps reusing over and over and over, and it's just idiotic. it's so annoying. I'm surprised Cody hasn't lost his cool and just beaten him up. Like, just flat out beating him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. I don't understand who out there likes Josh. The big brother always show, oh, I hope, so-and-so stays. Hope so-and-so stays.
The tweets on the bottom line.
I want to see somebody like, oh, I hope Josh stays. The only reason I would want Josh to even stay in this house at this point, because he's hilarious. Yeah. Like, it cracks me up. He's the biggest dumbass in the world. But it cracks me up watching him in this house and how he, just talks.
Just the more I watch him, the more I want him gone. Like, that, I don't even find it funny, really. It's just like, dude, stop talking, shut your mouth, pack your suitcase, and get out of here. Because nobody wants you in this house. And he doesn't even, he's blind to the fact that Paul is just puppet master. Josh, do this, Josh, say this. Literally before the competition, Josh says, I'm done talking crap to them. I'm done. And then in the competition, what's he doing? He's talking shit.
Because Paul told him beforehand, hey, you need to go in there and talk shit. He's like, nah, I'm done. Then after, he got out and Cody, mouthed off to him, which it's kind of expected. I mean, if I'm Cody in that situation, I'm like, hey, Josh, how's that feel? That's what Cody said. And then Josh comes firing back, and Paul's like, hey, Josh, why don't you go do this? Josh, why don't you go say this? They know, Josh is expendable on their team.
Well, yeah.
Out of the 10, it's like, all right, Josh, you're pretty expendable. If it comes back to those 10 next week, all right, Ramses, you're pretty expendable to our team, too. And then it's like, all right, who's next? Christmas, you have a broken leg, you're not doing much. Get you out of the house. Paul knows who he can get rid of. Yeah. And the rest of the house, they're like, yeah, we can Paul. We'll ride it all the way down to the jury house, I guess.
Which I really want to see Cody and Jess make big moves this week. They're in power. You try to get him out once. He doesn't have a temptation this time because Jessica has it. So if you were going to make your big splash this week, it would have to be get the veto. If you win the veto, pull down Ramses or Josh, doesn't really matter, and put up Paul.
But the thing right now with this house, Paul stays. The other person goes.
Paul against Ramses?
Paul stays.
Really?
Because Paul, he's the puppet master. He has such a good social game, he will stay. Regardless, I think, of who's up there. I think if he was up there against Christmas, people feel bad at the broken leg, but it's like, well, what's she going to bring to the table? Against Ramses, it'd be the same thing. What's she bringing to the table? And then, with Josh, it's, Josh, get the hell out of this house because you're annoying everybody. So, even Kevin, kind of came out after the HOH where he said, you know what? I think Josh has a lot of maturing that he's got to do in this house.
Kevin, the saran wrap dad?
Yeah, the saran wrap dad. Losing that weight, man. I can't say I've tried it, but...
I cannot say I know anyone that's tried wrapping themselves in saran wrap. Yeah, I just think you at least have to shoot for it and put up Paul, and either Paul or Josh goes. You can't lose. And then next week, say Paul wins HOH, tries to take a shot at you, he can't send you home. So, you have that in your back pocket, at least for now.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting next week's episodes. But, we still have 2 more episodes this week. Of course, we have the power of veto. Best case scenario for the people on the block right now.
Best case scenario for Ramses is he really is a pawn, and they win the veto, and they or he wins the veto, obviously. But if someone wins the veto who isn't Josh, essentially, so anybody but Josh, and he could stay on the block, he'll be fine because Josh is obviously a bigger threat. Best case scenario for Josh, the only way he stays this week is if he wins the veto. If he doesn't win the veto, he's gone. Like you said, Paul probably has the votes, regardless. And that's really, everybody else is going to say, well, it's just Josh, whatever.
But I don't see anybody coming up and taking him off the block. I don't see, Jason like, oh yeah, Josh, Kevin, I don't see him doing that. Kevin and Ramses there have that connection.
He's the outside. He's like that guy, you can hang out with us, but only because you have a nice basement. That's his role, essentially. It's like, yeah, you can talk with us, but only because you want to talk crap to Jessica and Cody and stir things up.
Is his basement as good as Mom's basement?
It's not as good as Mom's Basement Podcast, iTunes, and YouTube. Make sure you guys are subscribed to that podcast. It is on the same channel as this one. If you would like the weekly sports hot takes from me and Corey, we really appreciate that. Shameless plug right there. Nothing beats Mom's Basement, I'm sorry.
I got you back. Yeah, but anyways, you are listening to the Have Nots podcast on Mom's Basement. Or in Mom's Basement.
A part of Mom's Basement's podcast network.
But actually we are in an apartment loft.
We're in a loft right now. The acoustics up here are phenomenal.
Yeah, we are just enjoying life. So what I'm seeing on Twitter, I hate Josh, I hate that effing baby, I wish he was gone. Why would anyone keep Josh? Josh talks a lot of shit for somebody who hasn't won anything. Josh looks so much like a meatball more than Cody. So I really understand Josh being sad because of what the escort said makes me sad. Well, alright, so it looks like we have a... So he said, thank God we watched live feeds and know what really happened. So something happened 21 hours ago, apparently.
Really?
No idea what happened. But there's actually people out there that think Josh is a bully. Haven't laughed this hard in a while. People are stupid. Had $1 for every time Josh threw a fit.
Well, here's something else from 3 hours ago. Josh, this is Josh talking. Mark thinks I'm a depressed fool. I am mother effing dancing the Macarena inside. He is so gullible. He is so stupid.
So yeah. Oh, also last week we forgot to talk about Josh and Mark. I mean, obviously Mark's going to vote Josh out based off their pool game they had, where Josh scratched.
Yeah.
He scratched.
He double hit the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he lost the game.
Clear as day.
Clear as day, and take it like a man. And Mark, being fun, he threw whatever the heck it was, hot sauce and mayo. And
it was hot sauce and pickle juice, half and half.
Yeah, so it was some nasty stuff, and then Josh got all mad and came with the mustard. And Mark took it like a man. Mark was like, whatever, dude, have your dill. If that makes you happy. So, I mean, that was kind of funny. But, apparently Josh is just doing a whole lot of dancing right now, according to what I'm seeing on the live feeds. But, anyways, not to go spoilers, Josh is dancing. I think we can all say that one. So, other people in the house. I mean, obviously, if Paul goes up, Paul stays.
Yeah. That's what you think.
I know Josh is like, well, hopefully he's a bigger target. And Cody and Jessica's eyes, there's not a bigger target.
Right, I mean, they hate Josh.
And I think in the house right now, Josh is just so damn annoying. Mark's not going to want to keep him in. Elena's going to go with Mark, not want to keep him in. Matt's probably going to go with Mark.
Raven the same thing.
Paul, he's been having him do his own dirty work, so he's like, whatever, he's expendable. Cody, he's voting him out. Christmas might want to keep Josh in. It might be one of those pity votes that she gives him, just because Josh was kind of cool after the broken thing. I think he helped her out a bit watching the live feeds last week.
Yeah.
He did some stuff for her, so he might get the Christmas.
He kind of had that first day, he was struggling really, and then she was there for him, and he's kind of been there for her throughout the foot accident and all that stuff. So yeah, I think they kind of have a small connection, but I do think she thinks all right, dude, you're super annoying.
I think she would vote knowing he's going out, but just to give him the sympathy vote. We've all seen in the past where, hey, I'm going to throw one vote, so don't hold it against me.
Right.
I'm not. I know this guy's going home, but here's what's going to happen. So that could happen. But it's going to be an interesting week. I think Jessica, she has all the power, even without having power veto as of the moment, because she has the halting hex. Mm-hmm. She can use that whenever she wants. Can't wait to find out what the punishment is for that.
That's going to be crazy. It's got to be a huge punishment.
I mean, they haven't said anything. Yes, the last one you have to think. And this one, takes the most time.
Yep.
Now, when Paul got his temptation, he was safe for 3 weeks. Ramses, put yourself on the block for 3 weeks.
Right.
Jessica can take any eviction and halt it for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. So, this punishment has to be the biggest punishment. It has to be bigger than just a bunch of people hanging out on a toad.
Absolutely, 100%. It's going to be the biggest punishment. It's going to, I guarantee, jaw drop every single house guest, including Jessica. But it's the risk you have to take to keep yourself and whoever you are aligned to safe if they are up for eviction. And who wouldn't have taken that temptation? And
let's not forget, Christmas still has not used her temptation.
Right, she still has the ring of replacement is still in play. Granted, I don't know how well that can be utilized by her because frankly, she can't play in every veto.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, she was actually so excited she got to play this past one. Was the last one up with Jessica. Jessica trying to cut deals, which I want to get into the deals here that I just thought were hilarious. Trying to cut a deal, and she's like, well, don't really need your deal, not going to even acknowledge you or whatever. Right. And then Paul's like, hey, Josh, tell her not to accept the deal. And Cody saw him, verbatim. I saw Paul say that to Josh, and Josh is like, yeah, man, don't accept no deals. I can get a pizza and a back massage to Christmas. But then you look at, after just one, Matt and Raven, first one's in the door.
Yep.
Hey, guys.
Talk all you want. They're not going to buy anything that you're saying. And it was really both sides saying, yeah, I'm just here because, they're just here because we're in power. Yeah, we're just here because they're in power. We don't want to be on the block.
Yeah, it was so funny because you saw the feel-good moment, I think, last night's episode was Mark and Cody getting back on square one, let's squash it all. And then Cody's like, I trust Mark the least. Mark's like, I hate Cody. In the diary, it's like, oh my God, I love this season of Big Brother right now because it really is 10 against 2. I find myself now kind of rooting more towards the underdog just because Cody's kind of talking some game now.
Absolutely. If Cody would have done this from the start, he would have never left. I am for sure rooting for Jody as they're calling him on Twitter, Jessica and Cody. One, Cody's my favorite character or player this season, just because he's a baller, he's a competitor. He can win any single comp at any time. I like the focus, the really competitive nature that he has. Plus, he's not afraid to tell you how it is, and that's something that I really, really like. So I hope he just picks these guys off one by one. Him and Jessica just go, and maybe they get one or two of the floaters to come with them and just start to flip the numbers game, and they end up going pretty far.
See, the funny thing about the floaters is she's like Kevin and Jason are Team Us. They're Team Jessica.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, hey, Cody, you got to take this punishment in the HOH competition. So it's like, does Cody remember that, or what? Like, or is that just them trying to make nice with the rest of the house?
Yeah, they just don't want to shake it up because they want, again, they're floating. So you don't want to shake it up and make 10 people mad at you when it's only going to make 2 people be like, all right.
And out of all the people who they didn't show go to the house or even talk to Cody just this week, it was Kevin and Jason.
Right.
So more to come there, but I like how Paul and Cody were actually talking. I know they both said, hey, take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is. Don't trust either of them. But Cody even said, like, after he got voted out of the house, like, I would work with Paul if I got back in there because us two, like, we're the 2 top dogs. Like, we are, the big dogs of the house. We run the yard. It's, Undertaker, Roman Reigns all over again. Like, getting ready for WrestleMania main event come the final 2. That'd be awesome. Yeah. I think Cody and Paul.
We said it last week, we hope they will work together. It doesn't sound like they're going to, but it does sound like they're just going to compete, which is great. It's better than the whole, I've tried to backdoor you, I miss pen and protection, you try to backdoor me, it works, I'm out. So if they duke it out, that's cool. If they backdoor Paul this week, that's also cool. That's just going to be checkmate this time for Cody. But we'll have to see what happens. Yeah. It's going to be a really interesting
And I thought that was very cool, though, too, in their talk, when Paul was like, look, bro, you try to take him out. Cody's like, yeah, you had to do it. I understand what you had to do.
All respect.
Because I put up 5 people the first week, If Megan would have stayed, we wouldn't be in the situation we're at right now.
Yeah.
Which is, funny. Like, if she just would have stayed in the house, who knows what would have happened. But she left because, shit got sour. And here we are now, like, trying to figure out who's going to work with who. We think it's 10 against 2 as of the moment, but this week could change everything. I really honestly don't think Jody works with anybody else but those 2. Like, those 2 are ride and die. They're the showmans. That's how it's going to be.
Right.
Everybody else in the house, I mean, Paul, Maven, and what do they call Mark and Elena? Marlena?
Marlena.
Yeah, Paul, Maven, and Marlena. Those 5 right there, they're connected at the hip. Ramses, Kevin, Jason, and Alex. I mean, I totally forgot about Alex in this whole deal. Like,
Alex,
that's how big they're floating right there, And then again, Alex and Paul now have a secret alliance. But Alex is Jason's ride or die, so I mean, it's gonna make for some messy couple of weeks, I think, coming up on Big Brother. My wife's moment of the night, though, last night. I always have to get my wife's take in on these. She said, I like Cody because he's an asshole, and I really like assholes. So I think I might be an asshole. I don't know. But then, not to ruffle too many feathers here on this podcast, but remember last week when Christmas shared her story about competing, I was like, oh, this bee needs to go.
Right.
Last night, Jessica starts crying. Obviously lost her dad 3 years ago. I look at my wife, I'm like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? She's like, what? I was like, yeah, So my wife has kind of turned now. She's a Team Jody fan as well.
I'm on that train. I'm ready to take it to the end here.
I still like Paul. I'm a Paul guy.
Yeah, I still like Paul too.
I have friendship for days.
Oh yeah, friendship. Your boy, pissed, love it all. Can't get enough.
All right, so out of the 2 guys up on block right now, who do you want out of the house the most?
Josh.
And why?
Josh, because he's a clown. He's a scumbag. Yeah, I just can't listen to the guy talk. He's so annoying. He doesn't bring anything to the house other than the ability to run his mouth. So I just really want him gone.
I want Josh gone because he cries too much for a man.
Oh, I forgot about crying.
You can't cry this much as a man. I mean, last night Jessica said, you don't belong in this house. You said it today. He's probably crying now because he heard this podcast. They brought him to the diary room. Hey, what do you think about this podcast saying that you just cried? He's probably crying now. Those guys don't even know me.
Can we get Julie Chen holding a shirt outside the house when he leaves on Thursday that says there's no crying in baseball? Can we get him that shirt? Except maybe change baseball to BB. There's no crying in BB,
but
with Julie Chen's face in the back.
There's just so much crying this season. I mean,
and it's not the
Mark
girls.
was in tears.
It's the guys.
I mean, Christmas broke her leg, so obviously she's gonna cry.
That's thrown away.
You know, Jessica, she cried because she lost coach. She thought she was a lone dog and her dad. Like, that's understandable. Those two.
Yeah.
But like Mark crying because of, like, the whole Christmas leg being broke thing, and then Dominique getting put up on the block, and then Josh crying. Like day one, he was crying for some reason. Now he's crying again. Like, it's just like, what in the heck are you doing?
Knock it off.
Man, I love reading these tweets. Everybody.
Oh yeah,
Apparently Josh is taking over the live feeds right now.
Yeah, someone
and
wants
everybody's
to
like,
stay.
get Josh off the live feeds. He's wearing sunglasses right now. I don't know what's going on, but apparently he's just dancing. I found one person who says, people have the dumbest reasons for hating Josh. Well, he's a crybaby. Yes, great reason to hate somebody. It is a good reason to hate somebody.
It's a phenomenal reason.
At Chelsea Loves BB. I'm going to tweet her right now.
All right, well, while you tweet her, we should wrap up.
Yes, we should wrap up. For Joe Frank, Jason Carter, you can follow me at JasonCarter03. Follow Joe.
At Joe_Frank, FRANC01.
Thank you for watching this. Please comment down in the comment section. Let us know what you think. We'll be doing these every Monday for the rest of the Big Brother season. And until we get to the final, I'm going to try to convince Joe to get a day off so we can do like a live final together, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, cool. So Joe has the day off. I have no live, so I have the night off as well. And we're going to go watch some live feeds and see what's really